Surprise, format change. There are two constants on my YouTube channel. First, I'm not limiting myself on subject. I will talk about anything that I'm curious about. My bread and butter has been technical stuff. Computers, cell phones, laptops. I will probably get into more of that. But I've talked about goofy things like classic horror monsters, Valentine's Day. I've covered tractor hacking, and subjects like broken window theory and the government failure that is Flint, Michigan's water. So if I'm curious about it, I'll talk about it. Now I am currently working and have been working on getting into 3D scanning. So I'll be doing videos about that with the intention of scanning an object to 3D print it. So I'll be getting more into project-based videos. Now the second thing is, the channel as a whole is an experiment. Every time I turn on the camera, I'm experimenting with something. Whether it's editing software, lighting. This is actually like the 30th time I've recorded this because I was trying to use a webcam and I just wasn't getting good results. The particular experiment with changing the format has to do with the fact that there's a lot of subjects I just haven't gotten around to because I was spending way too much time doing the research, writing, and editing, and not getting enough filming in. In hopes of being more casual about my filming and writing style, I should be able to cover more subjects a lot faster. Now, the particular subject for this video is Jeff Bezos and his iPhone being hacked. The broader points of the stories are kind of going down like this. Allegedly, malware was loaded into a video file and sent directly to Jeff Bezos from the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman over WhatsApp. The hack happened shortly after Jamal Khashoggi was murdered in the Saudi consulate. Khashoggi had been working as a writer for the Washington Post, particularly covering Saudi Arabia. The purpose of the attack was to gather dirt on Jeff Bezos to use it as leverage to force the Washington Post to cease covering Jamal Khashoggi's murder along with other morally questionable activities in Saudi Arabia. Jeff Bezos has made the allegations that the extortion and blackmail attempts came through a company called AMI, who owns the National Enquirer. The National Enquirer did publish some of Bezos' text messages. Those text messages allegedly were acquired through the malware attack. And of course, Saudi Arabia is denying any connection to the Crown Prince and this particular breach. However, there are two UN investigators who have gone through the information available and found it credible and proof that something did happen and that there is a justification for further investigation into the Crown Prince. Now, the potential fallout for all of this? For starters, the Crown Prince will probably find that sanctions will be levied against him. It's highly unlikely that the US will be able to extradite a Crown Prince back to the United States for the purpose of standing trial. Now, for the National Enquirer and its parent company AMI, the legal troubles can get pretty bad. But even more so for AMI's owner, David Pecker. If Mr. Pecker can be tied to this particular breach or even receiving information, that would be a violation with an agreement made with the Department of Justice over campaign finance violations. Very similar to Michael Cohen. Mr. Pecker may also find himself being investigated as an unregistered foreign agent. Very similar to Michael Flynn. So what does this mean for the average person like us? Why is this worth talking about? Well, I would like to say that if someone is really motivated to get to your personal data, and they have unlimited money and resources, they'll be able to breach your device. However, spear phishing attacks like this are actually quite common. If someone like Jeff Bezos is a potential target for this and can be hacked, sadly so can we. This has been happening for quite a while, typically being carried out by attackers known as script kiddies, who are using very easy, simple point-and-click software available on the internet to attack just about anybody they want. This process is pretty simple. In step 1, you choose the payload you want and you load it into a media file. Step 2, you send that compromised file to your intended target and wait for them to open it. If they don't, repeat step 1 and step 2. Step 3, profit. Now in most cases with script kiddie software, what it will get you is access to the breached computer, allowing you to remotely enter and covertly go through their files, view their pictures, maybe steal passwords, maybe read their email, all kinds of stuff. This is typically associated with activating webcams and turning on microphones. Now the software used against Jeff Bezos was a little more complex. It ran a search algorithm for particular file types and then uploaded it to a third-party server, where that information was gathered and sifted through for damning evidence. But the tactic to get that software on Bezos' phone was very simple and basic. However, some of the most basic tactics have led to some of the most damaging digital attacks. So what's the moral of the story? Smartphones are really convenient. You can check your email, you can browse the web, you can use it to navigate, take pictures, all kinds of things. But convenience is the enemy of security. If there is anything that you need to keep private, anything you want to keep private, you must make sure it's not on your cell phone or readily accessible on a tablet. And you might want to think about how you store stuff on your PC. Now, this is a subject that I may cover again in more detail. I'm kind of curious about the legal consequences for AMI, particularly considering they received information that was acquired through unlawful access of stored communications, which would be a violation of U.S. Code Title 18, 2701. There are other Title 18 sections that probably apply to this story, and this definitely seems like a rabbit hole that I might jump down. Now, if you like this format, give me a thumbs up or leave a comment. I do appreciate the feedback. Thanks for watching and good luck. To subscribe, click the channel icon on the top left. Top right is the previous video, and below that is a random suggestion from YouTube. Thanks again.